In the heart of rural Mississippi, not far from endless cotton fields and rusted train tracks, lived a young boy named Elias Carter. His life was simple, quiet, and painfully hard. Elias was the kind of kid people felt sorry for, but rarely helped. His clothes were faded, his shoes were torn, and most days his pockets were as empty as his family's kitchen shelves. But inside him, hidden behind exhaustion and hunger, lived something powerful, a dream he never dared to speak too loudly. He dreamed of doing something big. He dreamed of rising above poverty. He dreamed of changing his family's life. But whenever he tried to talk about it, people laughed. "Elias, you barely have money for lunch. Kids like you don't dream big. You should focus on survival, not success." Their words hurt, but the hurt slowly hardened into determination. Elias lived with his mother and little sister in a worn-down trailer at the edge of town. His mother worked 2 jobs and still struggled to pay for electricity and groceries. His father had left when Elias was 6. Money was always tight, food was always scarce, hope was always fragile. But through it all, Elias helped however he could. Before school, he cleaned yards for neighbors. After school, he worked at a gas station, sweeping floors and stocking shelves. At night, he studied under a flickering lamp, the bulb so dim he sometimes used the light from his old phone screen. Most kids his age hung out with friends, played sports, enjoyed weekends. Elias worked, not because he wanted to, but because he felt he had to. He was living for others, for his family's survival, and the dream inside him remained buried beneath responsibility. One evening, after a long shift at the gas station, Elias sat on the broken steps outside his trailer. He stared at the sky, wondering why life seemed so unfair. Why can't I dream like other kids? Why does everything have to be so hard? He didn't know someone was listening. Across the gravel road lived Mr. Franklin, a retired Navy officer who spent most days sitting on his porch with a book in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other. He was respected in the neighborhood, a man of wisdom and quiet strength. That night he walked over and sat next to Elias. "You've got the look of a boy carrying the world on his shoulders," Mr. Franklin said. Elias sighed. "Everyone says I shouldn't think big because I'm poor." The old man chuckled softly. "Son, big dreams don't require full pockets. They require a full heart." Elias looked confused, so Mr. Franklin pulled a small metal object from his pocket, a shiny compass. "Look at this," he said. "A compass only knows one thing: direction. It doesn't care where you start. It doesn't care how rich or poor you are. It just points you toward where you were meant to go." Elias stared at the compass, captivated. Mr. Franklin continued, "People will try to pull you away from your direction. Their doubt will be louder than your belief. Their expectations will feel heavier than your dreams. But if you learn to follow your compass, not their voices, life will open up in ways you've never imagined." He handed the compass to Elias. "This is yours now. Use it to remind yourself of who you truly want to become." Elias held the compass tightly, as if it were a lifeline. That night, he made a silent promise: "I will think big, even if no one believes in me." From that day forward, Elias approached life differently. He didn't just work. He studied people. He watched how businesses ran. He noticed what tools people used. He paid attention to the problems around him and the opportunities hidden inside them. He realized the world was filled with needs waiting for solutions. One afternoon, while cleaning the gas station's storage room, he found an old box of used phones that customers had traded in years ago. Most were broken, cracked, or missing parts. But Elias saw potential. He spent weeks watching free tutorials online, learning how to repair screens, replace batteries, and fix charging ports. Whenever he earned tips from customers, he saved every dollar to buy a few cheap tools. Soon he had his first repaired phone, then another, then 3. People in town started hearing about the kid who could fix anything, but some people still doubted him. "You're too young to run a business. No one will trust a boy with no money. You should get a real job." Elias ignored them. He remembered the compass. He remembered his direction. He started a tiny repair stand outside the gas station, a cardboard sign, a folding chair, and a table made from wooden crates. It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. Starting small meant facing endless challenges. Some days he made no money. Some repairs failed. Some customers refused to pay. Some people mocked him. Some warned him to stop dreaming too big. But he kept going. When the summer heat made sweat drip into his eyes, he kept going. When winter wind froze his hands, he kept going. When exhaustion made him dizzy, he still kept going. His mother worried. "You're working too much," she said. "You're still a child." But Elias shook his head. "I'm building our future, Mom." Slowly, the future began to shift. By the next year, Elias had saved enough to rent a tiny storage shed and turn it into a repair workshop. He painted the walls, installed a small counter, and bought better tools online. People from neighboring towns began visiting. Some days, he fixed 20 phones. He hired a friend from school to help. Then two. Before long, Elias had become the talk of the county, but none of it changed him. He worked hard. He stayed humble. And he never forgot the compass in his pocket. 1 year turned into 3. Elias expanded his business into multiple towns across Mississippi. He opened a small electronics store, then an online shop. Then he created his own affordable brand of phone chargers and accessories. Money came, growth came, recognition came. But Elias remembered what truly mattered: purpose, not praise. One morning, after years of progress, Mr. Franklin walked into Elias's new office. His hair was whiter, his walk slower, but his eyes just as wise. "Look at you," he said. "A boy who once had empty pockets now has a full future." Elias smiled. "I just kept following the compass." Mr. Franklin placed a supportive hand on his shoulder. "And you learned the most important truth of all. Dreams are not measured by the money in your pocket. They're measured by the vision in your heart." Elias finally realized he had lived most of his early life for others. Working because people expected him to. Limiting himself because people doubted him. Shrinking his dreams because people laughed at him. Following survival instead of direction. But the moment he stopped living for others and started living for himself, everything changed. He learned, people will always have opinions. People will doubt you until you prove them wrong. People will limit you based on their own fears. People will judge you no matter what you do. So why live according to their expectations? Live for your purpose, he now says to young people. Not for approval, not for applause, not for survival, but for success with meaning. Elias now travels across schools and communities, teaching kids what he learned. You don't need money to dream big. P-U. You don't need approval to begin P. You don't need permission to rise. You don't need perfect conditions to build your future. Your story is written by your courage, not your circumstances. And your life will transform the moment you stop living for others and start believing in the power inside you. If this story inspired you today, remember this: stop living for others. Stop letting doubt pull you away from your direction. Protect your dream. Feed your fire. Think big even when your pockets are empty. And never forget, your vision is stronger than your circumstances. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more motivational stories.